All right, tonight's daily digit is 57. That's the percentage of U.S. homes where the head of the household is an immigrant that uses at least one welfare program. This 57% includes both legal and illegal immigrants, and that's according to the Center for Immigration Studies. Now, before we get back with Arizona Governor Jan Brewer, I want to show you a video that is quite frightening. This is not your average people running across the border video. This is the Mexican army crossing with a Humvee and rifles into the United States to question an American filmmaker doing a documentary on the Minuteman Project. Take a look. Now, as you can see them coming across the border. The Border Patrol verified with the filmmaker, Cesar Wright, that the Mexican military was far inside the United States. That barbed wire fence, that's not the border fence. That's just a Bureau of Land Management fence that's been in place for 50 years. They are very far inside the border, and they approach the filmmakers with their rifles. They're on our side of the border. You could see them right there. They are yelling at them in Spanish. And what the filmmakers chose to do was to continue to tape and try to explain that they were working for the media, and what they were actually doing was beaming those images back to a news van someplace, which they eventually took off back to their side of the border. Back with Governor Jan Brewer. Governor, I know you can't see that video from where you are, but the Mexican military has crossed our border many times, and our president has done nothing about it.
Well, does that surprise you?
No.
I mean, it's disturbing, but it doesn't surprise me. I wasn't familiar, and I didn't see the video. You know, we've got all kinds of stories, Andrew, that people just look and listen and think, you know, it's just unbelievable. We live in the United States of America. We got a federal government. They ought to be enforcing the rule of law. They ought to be keeping us safe, and they just simply aren't doing their job. I don't know when we are going to get somebody that will listen to us, and it's probably not going to happen until November. But we certainly need a change, in my opinion, of what's taking place in Washington, D.C., and we need it to happen this November for sure. We cannot tolerate it any longer. I'm not going to back down. I don't think the American people are going to back down. We're going to fight for our safety and the protection of not just Arizona, but for the United States.
I have a couple of articles in my hand from the Associated Press, not some right-wing blog. One from 2010 and one from 2006. Felipe Calderon targeted you personally for being racist when he spoke to the Congress. Of course, the Democrats gave him a standing ovation, but he made the claim that this was racial profiling, and the Democrats have run with this idea that you've empowered law enforcement to be particularly brutal to people of Hispanic or Latin descent. I know that's not true because a large portion of your law enforcement community just so happens to be Hispanic or Latino or whatever the current term is. But headline, Mexico acknowledges migrant abuse and pledges change. That's from 2010. From 2006, few protections for migrants in Mexico. And it goes on that Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and a bunch of other organizations have all targeted the Mexican police for their brutal treatment of people crossing their border to the south. How is it that American law enforcement can be accused of brutality when none exists?
Well, you know, words are cheap. They can say what they wish, I guess, and I assume then a few people might believe them, but it is so far from the truth. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And it's, you know, Andrew, it puts people like myself and other people in Arizona, other people in America in a position where they have to defend it. And when you keep defending yourself because they put you in that position, you sometimes feel almost guilty because you ought not to have to do that. And it is so unfair and so wrong. The bottom line is that it just keeps coming back. Why doesn't our federal government do their job, secure our borders, keep our people safe, enforce the rule of law, rather than sit 3,000 miles away from the state of Arizona and dictate what's taking place and telling their description of what is taking place on our border, so far different from what it really is. It's totally frustrating. Thank goodness there are people out there that understand the issue, and that there are people like yourself that are telling the American people what is taking place. And then I want to get back to the first statement you made about President Calderon on the floor of the United States Congress, given the opportunity to address a state and a governor of this great country, derogatory, I might add, so un-American. I'm a citizen of the United States. I was elected to represent the people. I took an oath to uphold the Constitution and to protect the people. And to give him that opportunity was just, in my mind, just unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It's no different than the United Nations asking Libya and China about our civil rights.